Okay, I'm kind of hoping that I've now resolved my issues with focusing. Yeah, that looks okay. Okay, so this video is on overfishing. So this is part of the issues in agricultural exploitation, and although I wouldn't technically perhaps call fishing agriculture, we are going to talk a bit about aquaculture, so perhaps it does fit in here. And certainly fishing is exploiting the fish stocks of the sea. So I'll just draw a bit of water on there just for the sake of completeness, and a little fishing boat. Here we go. So this is what we're talking about. So, sort of sustainability, and remember in one of the other videos I've been talking about sustainability. It's kind of key idea really, that we need to be harvesting in a sustainable way. So the idea of fishing is that you catch the fish and take them away from the ecosystem, and if you're doing that in a sustainable way, you're leaving some of the population so that they can breed and replenish those fish stocks. So you're taking away, you're harvesting, but then we've got reproduction, and it's replenishing those fish stocks. And we call reproduction in fish, we call it recruiting. We're recruiting back to the population. So the idea of overfishing is the situation whereby you're taking out far too many of those fish, and you're not really leaving enough to perhaps reproduce the population back to any kind of level. And then of course the next time you come, you take some fish away, and they're recruiting even less to the population, and eventually you can see the population is going to collapse, and the fishery is going to collapse. I can recommend to you, there's a great case study of the Newfoundland fishery which completely collapsed and actually had to be closed, to great controversy obviously amongst the population who were living there. So we don't want to be fishing to the point where the population can't actually recover itself so that you can go and fish it again. That's, so we need to do it in a more sustainable way. The problem's been slightly exacerbated by the fact that we're not talking about little inshore fisheries. They're going out and they're collecting a few fish because they've got quite small boats. We've got these huge, what we call factory ships, that do all the fish processing on site, and they can take out tons and tons and tons and tons of fish, and in a fairly sort of non-sustainable way. So as we've kind of got better and fishing's got more sort of advanced technologically, and using sonar to locate shoals, etc., etc., we've just got so much better at it that we are actually in danger of overfishing a number of our stocks. So we need to sort of look at things that would conserve the fish stock so we can use it in a sustainable way, while still harvesting. People still want to eat fish. So there are a number of things, a number of measures that can be taken. One is mesh size. So if you have a mesh size like that, it's pretty much going to catch everything that is bigger than that mesh. So you're catching the fish that are this big. But the fish that are this big will be able to escape, and they will then form your breeding population. And so setting a minimum net, a mesh size that will allow the smaller fish to escape and then survive in order to breed. There's also fishing seasons. That's pretty obvious. You don't fish when the fish are breeding. You can reduce the number of boats that can go out, and controversially you can set Oh, I can't spell that at all, can I? You can set fishing quotas, and these are often government-led initiatives, where, you know, if you go over your quota you get a massive fine, and so you're not taking, the idea is you don't take too many fish out of the sea. One other potential solution, again, I'm not sure how successful this is, but anyway, is fish farming. So that's the idea, that instead of having your fish sort of swimming free in the sea, you keep them in a big aquatic net. I'll just move some of my fish over here. And you're breeding them and rearing them inside nets. If they're sea fish, obviously you'd have that in the sea. If they're freshwater fish, you're looking at things like trout farms. Now, part of the problem with fish farming is you can see how crowded my little fish are inside that net. So what we tend to get is a lot of disease spreading, a lot of parasites spreading in those populations, and of course they are in open water, so those things, whatever's inside the net, anything littler than the fish, disease causing bacteria, etc., can get out into the surrounding water and could therefore infect your wild population that are living outside of the net. You also tend to be putting it's quite intensive, because this is aquaculture as opposed to agriculture, so you might be putting in extra food, you might be putting in antibiotics, you might be putting in pesticides. All of those things are quite small and can therefore get out and into the wild populations. So particularly pesticides might be for parasites, might be causing problems in the food chains surrounding those fish farms. If you're sticking food in, what you're getting out of the bottom is your excess food, and of course you've also got the excrement, so all of the fish wastes, all that ammonia that they're excreting from their gills and all their poo all goes out into the water, and that can cause problems, of course, because of nutrient enrichment. So it can cause issues with eutrophication. But on the upside, at least you're not harvesting out of the wild populations. And these fish are often specially bred for, to have faster growth rates. There's a problem if they escape, therefore, so that you've got more competition and they're a bit better at it because they grow faster. There would be a problem if they were genetically modified, breeding with the wild population. Luckily, a lot of these farmed fish are now bred to be triploid, which means that they actually can't form gametes because they've got no homologous pairs to do meiosis with, so that's a sort of upside. And of course you get bigger fish, faster, more intensively farmed, so it is a bit more like farming. So there you are, aquaculture. So what do you need to know? You need to know the idea of sustainable fishing. You need to know what overfishing is, so it's taking too many out of the population so that you're not leaving enough left, and the sort of strategies that can be taken to fish in a more sustainable way. And of course, when you look into it more, we should be eating different sorts of fish. We're pretty much dependent on maybe 6 or 7 species of fish, and really, there's a lot more different sorts of fish that are probably quite edible that we should be eating, so that we're not, when they get caught in the nets, they're not being thrown away because they can actually be used. There you have it. That's what I know about fishing. It's not very much really, is it?